Monstrum 2 recently had its early play for going into early access, and developers got in touch and wanted me to check it out on stream. You're not hearing any sound because we did this for our multiplayer night, and we were certainly chatting things up as we were playing it. Nevertheless, we have a very interesting idea for a game that I feel definitely needs some work in order to play with the big boys. Namely, of course, Dead by Daylight. So this is based off of the first game, which was more of a single-player kind of survival roguelike style design. This one's big point is that it is multiplayer, with 5 people, 4 playing as survivors, 1 playing as a monster. So the level itself is loosely procedurally generated when you start playing. The various rooms each have different puzzles or things for you to find, and they are shuffled around. The mission is to complete various tasks with their location and things you need to do randomized when you play, in order to get off this kind of thing where we're on an oil refinery, while the monster is going around trying to kill everybody. So the various tools that you get each serve a purpose or will do something that will either get you access to one of the power switches or maybe stop the monster. For instance, I'm holding a fire extinguisher that I can use to basically blind everyone with a fog of smoke. Now, the reason why I'm following the cords on the ground is that leads you to where the various power switches are. Now, you are limited in how much you can carry, so that's where kind of teamwork comes into play. That you may not have the tool needed, and you'll need to communicate with your friends in order to solve these various puzzles. It's a pretty nifty idea. Now, the monster, which I'll show you in the back half of the video, can basically move around. There's, at the moment, 3 different monsters, each with their own unique abilities and how they get around. The Brute is the slowest, but he can basically one-hit kill anyone who gets close to him, while a kind of like faster crawling enemy or character is more maneuverable, but he takes multiple hits in order to kill a survivor. Every survivor gets 2 lives, and the monster wins if he prevents the survivors from escaping, and there's a time limit as you see at the top of the screen. And the survivors win, of course, if they can solve all the puzzles and get out. Now, one of the things about this game is that it is, at the moment, really in the monster's favor. Even though there are going to be duplicates to the various things you need to achieve, that way they can't kind of hunker down or, guard one spot. It's still that case where, because they can one-shot, or most of them can one-shot you, it's still very easy to just whittle down the survivors one at a time. Now, with the footage that you're seeing, again, this is from kind of its pre-early access, and if you're watching this in the future, it may not represent the current version of the game. But I'm going to switch footage here. We'll be back after this quick break, and I'll show you what it's like to be the monster, and what else goes on with Monstrum 2. And now for a quick thank you to our current Game Wisdom supporters and sponsors. And if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. Now available at most retailers are my current books on design. 20 Essential Games to Study is an intro-level look at 20 unique games to provide inspiration for any developer looking to get into the game industry. And the Game Design Deep Dive series each go into a top-to-bottom look at the design of a specific genre, with platformers and roguelikes now available, and horror coming in the near future. With Monstrum 2, your footage you're seeing now is from the monster side of things. The basics are certainly here, but I feel like the presentation and just overall performance is not up to par, especially if you compare this to kind of the 800-pound gorilla of this kind of genre, and that would be Dead by Daylight. So you have very plain-looking environments. The game took an unusually long time to load, especially on my solid-state drive, and there's definitely some kind of jankiness to it. For instance, when the enemy brute or the monster brute model goes to punch, it looks like he's punching in the middle of the screen, but from our point of view, it looks like it was just fist pumping everywhere. Now, the monster that I'm playing as is kind of like the more advanced character that you can teleport around, and also leave down little things and can grab people like that. And with this game, the big thing is that there is a lack of variance in how you play on different runs. While the rooms and the overall layout is shuffled on each play, you're still performing the same basic tasks. And again, that's very similar to Dead by Daylight. But that game has, of course, a far more robust and arguably confusing progression and persistence system on top of that. Now, this game is promoting that there will be additional monsters, there will be cosmetics and personalization, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to entice people away from that. You are given far more kind of freedom of movement in this one compared to Dead by Daylight, but it comes at the cost of far, I think, less in terms of variety. And as you can see right there, I actually got blinded by the camera, but I still managed to kill the person anyway. So, like I said, overall, there's potential here, but they have a very long road to go, I feel, before I would say that this would be comparative or par with Dead by Daylight. For the other people, for anyone else who played the beta, I'm curious what your thoughts on it, especially if you are a longtime Dead by Daylight fan. With that said, I would like to thank the developer for getting in touch and asking me to check this one out. If you let me tell your game in the future, please get in touch. We are always looking for games to spotlight. Be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon link down below, and come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games. Once again, this has been Monstrum 2, and until next time, take care.